Hey, it's Lianne Phillipson, registered nutritionist. I was on a local radio station in Montreal on Monday talking about the four supplements that I recommend to pretty much everyone. There could be a fifth. We'll see if we get to that. And I promised all the listeners that I'd give the full version because 4 minutes on air leaves an awful lot unsaid. The supplement aisle can be a really intimidating place to be, and you might walk in, get totally overwhelmed, and then decide, I don't even know. Or maybe you might just kind of grab a multivitamin and think, okay, I'm going to do that, and then just get out. Well, it's not necessarily a bad thing. What's in a multivitamin doesn't have much impact on imbalances and deficiencies. And typically, the forms that are in the vitamins and minerals of a multi are pretty cheap, and your body does not absorb cheap very well. So, I came up with these four basic recommendations, these specifics to focus on, because I have found with my clients that they have the most impact with pretty much anything that they have going on. All right, so number one, this is the one I talk about the most, and this is magnesium. Deficiency is so incredibly widespread, and the symptoms, they can be a little tricky and easy to miss. So there's a stat out there up to about 80% of people can be really low in magnesium. And the list of what it looks like when you are low in magnesium is kind of long. So it can be muscle cramps, it can be poor sleep, more so when you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't get back to sleep. That's like a whole video all on its own. Headaches, anxiety, constipation, low energy, and even heart palpitations. Now, the form matters enormously here. Magnesium oxide, which is what you'll find in most drugstore vitamins, in your multi, like I said, it has an absorption rate of around 10%. So, if on the side of the label it says 50 milligrams of magnesium oxide, you might, if your digestive system is working well and you're able to digest and break it down, you might get about 5% out of that. And really, that's not enough for anything. So, what you want to look for is magnesium bisglycinate or glycinate. It absorbs well, it's the absolute go to. It's gentle on your digestive system, excellent for sleep and also anxiety. Now, another form called magnesium threonate is the one that crosses the blood brain barrier. It's really useful and used specifically in brain health, cognition, and also for focus. So, if that's what you're looking for, then the magnesium threonate or a combination of the two of those together, that's what I've been trying out lately. That could be good for you. Now, there's also magnesium citrate that's found probably in a lot of the magnesium supplements out there. And while it does work, it has a laxative effect. So if you do suffer with constipation, it's useful just to get things moving, but it's not what you want to take long term, and especially not before a long car ride. Now, in episode of 198 of Eat This with Leanne, then I went into everything about magnesium. Okay, so vitamin D. This is an absolute Canadian reality. If you're anywhere else in the world, like the UK, Australia is probably okay with their vitamin D, with their sunshine. But us in North America, the northern part of North America anyway, this definitely is one to look out for. It really is not optional in this country, especially from October through to about April. The sun angle is not at a place that's sufficient enough to produce it on our skin. And also, by that time, we're all covered up in clothes anyway. And even in the summer, most of us were indoors, we're wearing sunscreen, or you're just not getting enough sun exposures. Studies are consistently showing that somewhere between a third and a half of Canadians are deficient. Now, what does vitamin D look like? How are you going to know? Of course, you can go and have a blood test, but really low immunity, low mood, huge for mood, fatigue, bone issues, and now we're seeing research that link brain health and dementia risk decades down the line. There's also some talk about how important this is for cardiovascular health as well. It impacts absolutely everything in your body. Now, the form that you want to look for is D3 and not D2. D3 is what your body makes from sunlight and absorbs significantly better. And when you pair it with K2, K2 actually acts like a traffic director, helping vitamin D get into, I say, into the parking spots, which are actually called the receptor sites in your body, where it actually needs to go your bones, your tissues, not your arteries or anywhere else. And I actually did a whole podcast on this, on Eat This with Lianne of episode 59. So that's another one to check out. I have actually had a note from someone who did hear me on the radio asking about the amount of vitamin K2 to pair with the vitamin D. Thank you for your question. Now, because I always recommend vitamin D3 plus K2 combined, then that really is the route that I recommend going. I also believe, and really do this with my clients, is that taking vitamin D on a daily basis, even though it is actually a fat soluble vitamin, which means that your body does hold on to it, it is absorbed as opposed to like B vitamins and vitamin C. Those are water soluble. So they kind of go in, they do their work, and then you pee them out. So vitamin D is stored in the body. However, and sometimes people are taking it every other day, a few times a week, once a month. I'd still think at least 5 out of 7 days to be getting it into your body because you may be in a stressful situation and not able to absorb. You didn't eat enough fat at the particular time when you took your higher dose vitamin D. So, if a recommendation, just ask your practitioner, your doctor, or whoever it is who's recommending the amount and the frequency of vitamin D that you're taking. I personally take at least 5,000. I use a vitamin D3, and along with it comes the K2. So I think it's probably 200 milligrams, something like that. And then I do take that daily. And if I happen to forget on a day, maybe on the weekend when I'm busy, I'm not so worried because my 5,000 in the winter, I'll definitely take it up to about 10,000. In having my DNA tested, I know that I do absorb vitamin D well from the sun. But also, some people, unless you've had your DNA tests done, then there are people who don't absorb it well and they actually need to take it multiple times a day in order to get it into their bodies. So, to cover all those bases, I think having it on a daily basis is potentially going to get you around any absorption issues that you might come across. All right, next on my list is the omega 3s. Now, these fatty acids are essential. They're called essential fatty acids for a reason, meaning that your body can't make them. That and vitamin C, of course. They have to come from food, from your oily fish, which is salmon, tuna, herring, mackerel, or sardines, or from from any kind of supplement that you have. They typically have to be on their own in that gel cap. They don't mix well, or the form doesn't mix that well when you put it into something hard. So you're probably going to have something separate. Now, most Canadians and probably the world, unless you're in the Mediterranean somewhere, they're not getting enough fatty fish to get what you need. So, at least 250 to 500 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA daily. I would even go higher than that for most of DHA. If you have a product that has higher EPA, that tends to be more for inflammation, so your sore knees, your arthritis. Higher levels of DHA, then that is more for memory, for mood, for cognition. Oh, and also, of course, your eyes, your brain, cell membranes, all of this is helped from essential fatty acids. Now, low omega-3s can show up in you like dry skin, dry hair, poor memory, concentration, low mood again, and stiff joints. So, when you're choosing a supplement, look for one that specifies EPA and DHA on the label. It has to say that, not just fish oil 1,000 milligrams, because that number doesn't really tell you about the components of the DHA and the EPA that's in it. And you're really relying on your body to digest it down from the fish oil to those components. And a lot of people are missing a particular enzyme to digest it down the chain. Most of them should probably come from the fridge. And once it's open, if you purchased it and it wasn't in the fridge, just pop it in the fridge afterwards because oxidized fish oils are really not great. So that means that the fish oils have gone rancid. All right, B vitamins. Now, these are for energy. They're your stress vitamins. They're your mood vitamins. They're all rolled into one family. B12 and B6 and folate in particular are involved in producing serotonin and dopamine and GABA, your calming neurotransmitter. And when these are low, you feel it in your energy, your resilience, and your mental health before any blood tests that you might have will catch it. B12 is the one I do look at closely because it's found almost exclusively in animal products, which means that vegetarians and vegans can be at particular risk, but also anyone who's been on an acid blocking medication long term for reflux, because those drugs do actually reduce your ability to absorb B12 from your food. So the form really matters here as well. Methylcobalamin, the active form, rather than cyanocobalamin, which is a cheaper and less bioavailable. Again, you're going to find that probably in your multivitamin if you turn that around. A sublingual spray or liquid B complex that actually absorbs much faster than a tablet because it bypasses your digestion entirely. And just a quick note, if you have any gummy vitamins in your cupboard, know that they're essentially candy with a small amount of really not very well absorbed vitamins added. And that sugar content, it really does undermine some of what you're trying to achieve. And the doses are normally too low to make any meaningful difference. So I just say skip them. Now, I do have a full script store. I don't carry supplements myself anymore as I once did. So, on the full script platform, I'll put a link below. Then you'll find my recommendations for these four supplements, and probiotics is the other one that I would add onto there. So I will put that in there. Of course, getting probiotics from food, from all the fermented foods, is exceptional to do. Maybe that'll be a video coming in the future. So you can check that out. It's fullscript.com/Lianne Phillipson, and I'll put a link below for you. Now, if you've made your way to this video via my weekly newsletter, I send it every single Friday. So please come along and join the conversation. You can sign up on liannephillipson.com for more videos like this, or just the newsletters that I send out every week that are absolutely packed with great conversations and information about nutrition, health, your mind, your mood, menopause, just all the things, all the conversations that we're all having. So thanks so much for watching and staying all the way until the end, and I will look forward to seeing you again really soon.